GIZ is a federal enterprise of German government who offers international cooperation for sustainable development. One of the projects in Thailand is to support the reduction of single-use plastic through CAP-C project.
Yes, sure. So CAP-C stands for Collaborative Action on Single-Use Plastic Prevention in Southeast Asia, and we are implementing this project on behalf of the German government in Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Mm-hmm. And in Thailand, we really support the NSTDA, the National Science and Technology Development Agency, in the concrete action plan of the BCG, new bioeconomic and circular strategy for Thailand, and here specifically the C pillar for circular economy. So we work together with a very broad range of stakeholders from government, but also industry. So other partners are the Federation of Thai Industries, PCD, the Pollution Control Department, the Thai Industrial Standards Institute, but also the city of Phuket and the Thai Hotels Association, Southern Chapter, and the Phuket Hotels Association. Mm-hmm. And the goal really is to reduce single-use plastics, but also to reduce virgin plastics coming onto the market by strengthening the domestic recycling market.
One of the solutions to reduce single-use plastic waste is to incubate a startup providing reusable containers for delivery and takeaway services.
This reusable food container as a service is a relatively new model that has been around now in Europe and Germany for the last, let's say, 3 to 4 years. And right now, because there's very conducive legislation in Germany, they see tremendous growth rates. So one of these companies in Germany that provides such reusable food containers is now the fastest growing startup in Germany. But we also see such systems in Singapore and in Indonesia already being implemented. So we think it's high time that Thailand also starts using those.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. When you speak about services of offering reusable plastic container, right? How does it work exactly? I don't quite understand.
Right. So it's basically, you're familiar with the Pinto, right? The
yes.
Traditional way. And so it's basically a hassle-free Pinto that you don't have to clean yourself. So you basically get your food delivered, you order it from your favorite restaurant, and you get it delivered in a reusable, let's say, kind of Tupperware box. There are different versions. Mm-hmm. And then it gets picked up, cleaned, and put back into the cycle again. So for you as a consumer, it's basically the same experience as if you had a single-use item, only that you don't throw it away afterwards, but you give it back.
Mm-hmm. How is the feedback so far when you introduce this idea to startups, for example?
Mm-hmm. At the moment, there is we're meeting a lot of skepticism. We're meeting a lot of skepticism, especially with regards to the hygiene aspect because of COVID. So a lot of people seem to be afraid that it would not be clean, it would not be hygienic. So this is where we see where we are currently doing a lot of user-centered research to find the right angle. How we can introduce such a model. But we're working together with Thai local startups, Thai local companies. And so we are very hopeful that this can become a model. Yeah, so I think COVID has had a very strong impact on plastics pollution. On the one hand, of course, you have the use cases that were absolutely necessary for single-use plastics, right? PPE, protective equipment. But in terms of the increase of food delivery or also in the restaurant dining, you sometimes see that you now get served on single-use foodware, which is absolutely not necessary. There is World Health Organization guidance on how to clean reusable foodware so it is hygienic also during the pandemic. So I think to a degree we also see an overreaction here, and it's now important that the pandemic shifts to an endemic soon, hopefully, that we come back to a more sustainable use.
Mm-hmm. Based on your experience, what are the key strategies that Thailand should use to reduce the amount of single-use plastic pollution?
Right. So there is a a range of things. On the one hand, it should really strengthen the promotion of reuse. And this is on the one hand really on everyday cases, like there's already bans on certain plastics in place, and also certain very thin plastic bags shall be banned according to the Thai Plastics Roadmap by 2022. Now it's important to enforce such bans as well, but also to encourage consumers to bring their own shopping bag. But again, also there should be policies for restaurants, hotels, eating joints, that they are obliged to serve food and beverages only in reusable foodware. In case of takeaway and delivery, there should be the option of having a reusable food container. But here you see the necessity on the one hand to have the right policies, the right obligations, but also the availability of such systems, of such companies on the market. So here we need to do both. Those companies and those startups need also be supported. There need to be financial incentives, fiscal incentives for companies investing in reuse infrastructure. And for example, retailers can do a lot by introducing deposit return schemes so that you can bring back your bottles and the like, a system that is working very well in Europe and other places. Mm-hmm. At the same time, for plastics recycling to be strengthened, there need to be standard and labeling schemes for high quality domestic recycling. And there need to be mandatory design for recycling standards and also minimum recycled content targets, so that the shampoo bottle you buy in the store is not made out of oil, but actually made out of recycled shampoo bottles.
And that's all for Foresight this week. We'll see you again next week.